welcome back to Bad's Garage. This is a bit of an update of things that I'd like to get done, which this is pretty much after we've done the Will It Run. There's a couple of things I forgot to mention that I would like to get on with, as well as sorting out the rear shock, painting the front wheel, and worst of all, having to sort out the exhaust, which we'll get back to that. But a couple of things I'd like to get done, which has always bugged me the whole time I've had this bike, is the wiring on it is absolutely awful. I mean, there's blocks in there, there's blocks in there, blocks in there. There's this here where it's that corroded inside there. I had a problem with it running or starting, so I had to cut the red wire and solder in an extension around the outside. So what I'd like to do with that is to take off deep in that, clean it all, and reconnect the pins, so I ain't got that external wire anymore. I mean, that was okay for a temporary fix, but that really needs sorting. But the wiring is absolutely awful. Almost everywhere you look, something's been undone and taped. That there. So one thing I'd like to do is go round it and try and sort some of the wiring out, because yeah, it's shit. I recently as well wanted to let you know about something I was scammed on. I recently purchased on Facebook advertisement, not on Marketplace, but Facebook advertisements for a motorcycle lift, and it was sort of like an almost cheap version of, not really an ABBA Skylift, because an ABBA Skylift's a totally different thing. It's from one side, but it was a lift that had got two hooks that went under the bike, and you used it weren't hydraulic, so it was just drill operated, so it just lifted. So I know I've been scammed, but even though it was cheap, it could have been cheap, because there was nothing much to it. It was literally a box frame and a like a scissor jack kind of, well, similar to this thing here. It's that sort of a mechanism. And yeah, I basically got scammed. I ordered it, and I received a scarf instead, which was nice of them, and I'm currently wrangling with the bank to see if I can get my money back. So then I've bought this, which is it's quite a decent bit of kit actually. It sits under the frame, and it just means that I mean, at the minute that's up and the front wheel's off the floor, and it's as secure, if not more secure, than it would be if it was on a paddock stand, because this bike doesn't really like being on a paddock stand, because it's got a very rounded swing arm. So if I put the paddock stand on, this one here with these rubbers, it tends to slide up the swing arm, and the wheel ends up back on the floor. So with this, you see, I can have the frame on there, and I can put the paddock stand on, and the paddock stand can't really slide because the bike can't move, because it's been secured with that. So yeah, that's just a word of warning really. Don't buy any of the cheap lifts off Facebook advertisements. To be honest, I'm quite surprised that Facebook allow them to advertise, because they're clearly scamming everybody. And I've now got an email from them telling me that I have to. They accept that they've made a mistake, but this is where they get you. they're expecting me to post that scarf, which is no good to nobody, back to China, even though the original address that it apparently came from was from Newcastle, but they're expecting me to post that back to China, so God knows how much that'll cost. And then once they receive it, they'll issue me a refund, or I can not send it back and they offering me a 40% refund, which, oh yeah, I don't know how I'm going to get around that one with the bank, whether they'll do anything about it. I've got a bad feeling I'm going to end up losing that money, because I can only imagine that's trying to send that thing back to China is probably going to cost almost as much as what it cost me to pay for that lift. And according to the packaging, that ain't come from China, it's come from Newcastle. So yeah, I won't bother updating you on that unless I get the money back, which I'm hoping to. But yeah, I will update you. I'll let you know whether I did or I didn't, but we'll see. So yeah, I just thought I'd add those bits to it. You know, so yeah, get the wiring sorted as best I can, and just clean it back up. I don't know if you saw the photo in the thumbnail of the last upload, but that's pretty much how she normally would look while I was using her, all cleaned up and whatever. And she looks pretty well, to be fair, for an old bike. And that's how I'd like to get her back to that. And then it's looking along the lines of maybe having to sell this one, and then when I get the 7R back, that's another sore point. When I get the 7R back eventually, we'll probably have to look at selling that as well, and then I'll have space to get myself a new project in, and then I'd also like to order myself, because I've been stung with the lift. I think what I need to do now is get rid of this bench, but just order a proper hydraulic lift, so it goes down on the floor and you can park a bike on it and it's not in the way then. Whereas this is, it's a bit, as good as it's been, it's just a bit bulky and it takes up too much space. So yeah, I'll probably have to drop about £450 for an hydraulic lift, but that's for another time. I'll see how I go with these lifts for now. So yeah, we'll get on with the next upload, and as I said, we'll be getting that that shocker out, getting that cleaned up, because the back end's done anyway. That's the last thing I did on this bike, is I took the back end off and repainted everything and polished everything up, and obviously that's that shock's the only thing that's gone sideways. So I'll get that sorted out, and then I can crack on with the front and the dreaded exhaust and the painstaking electrics. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time. Cheers.